Hello everyone. Today we're going to cover plant-based eating. During this presentation, we are going to cover what is plant-based eating, the benefits of eating more plant-based, sources of plant-based protein, and how to incorporate this new eating style into our day-to-day diets. So let's start off. What is plant-based eating? We have a quote up here that you guys can read, and it's from Catherine D. McManus. She's a writer for the Harvard Health Publishing, and plant-based eating is an approach to food that incorporates eating a little less meat and decreasing our meat portion sizes and increasing our intake of, well, plants. By plants, I mean fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, oils, whole grains, legumes, and beans. You could still have dairy and meat. It's just a matter of decreasing the portion size and how often we're having it. And we're going to get to later on the presentation some ways to incorporate this method. Benefits of eating plant-based. The Mediterranean diet has been shown in both large population studies and randomized control studies to reduce risk of heart disease, metabolic syndrome, diabetes, certain cancers, specifically colon, breast, and prostate cancer, depression, and in older adults help to decrease the risk of frailty and falls, along with better mental and physical function. As I stated earlier, it helps to reduce metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is a cluster of conditions that we often see together, which involves increased risk of heart disease like stroke and type 2 diabetes. The conditions associated are increased blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess body fat, specifically around the waist, and abnormal cholesterol or triglyceride levels. Okay, so next we move on to protein sources. Because a myth of eating more plant-based is that vegans or vegetarians per se don't get enough protein. As I said, it is a myth. So protein is made up of amino acids that act as building blocks for our body. They help to build up what makes us, the tissues of our body, our enzymes, our blood. Some amino acids are considered essential, meaning that we need them in our body. Our body can't make them on their own, so we have to get them from food. Most plant foods, with the exception of soy and quinoa, may be low in one or two of these essential amino acids, but you can get enough of all these amino acids by including a variety of whole plant-based foods in your diet. We want to try to include protein in all of our meals or snacks as well. Protein, like fiber and healthy fat, takes our body a little bit longer to break down and digest, so therefore we feel more full longer and therefore satisfied, which prevents us from snacking an hour or two later after we had just eaten a meal. This chart on the screen provides you with some new options to include in your diet, along with protein portion size and the total amount of protein that they each include. We also attached a handout that you can use to put on your fridge or incorporate into your grocery shopping as well. So how are we going to start eating more plant-based? A great place to start is doing Meatless Monday. It's a global movement with a simple message. 1 day a week, cut out the meat. On average, Americans consume about 8 ounces of meat per day, 45% more than the USDA recommends. Monday is the beginning of the week, making it a perfect time to reevaluate our choices and set our intentions for the coming days. With a Meatless Monday, you can have it scheduled. It's a recurring reminder to start your week off on a more nutritious note as well. And if, hey, Monday passes you by, it's going to come back around anyway. So it gives you another opportunity to focus on your health. There's a non-profit organization called Meatless Monday, and you can check out their resources at www.meatlessmonday.com as well. All right, so up here on your screen, you can see some swaps. It's just swapping out a meat option for a plant-based option. Beef burgers can be high in saturated fat, which contributes to heart disease. Switching them out for a leaner option, like a veggie burger, can still maintain your protein, as beans are often high in protein, and can increase your daily allotment of fiber as well. You could even do a falafel burger with some tzatziki sauce. It's pretty tasty. If you add a whole grain bun, you're also upping your protein and fiber in that meal as well. Here you see buffalo wings swapping for a buffalo cauliflower bite. Not only are they faster to cook, they're very crisp and flavorful. It's important to note though that the buffalo cauliflower bites are not a high protein source. We can include more protein in this snack by dipping the bites in like a Greek yogurt blue cheese dip. Another option could be a roasted red pepper hummus for those of us who like that extra spice. Switching out those meat tacos, even if we're doing turkey, that's great. But walking back the beef consumption and switching for more of a plant-based option by using lentil tacos. Lentils provide us about the same amount of protein as ground beef, and in just half a cup, it contains about 273 milligrams of potassium. Potassium helps to counteract the damaging effects of sodium and has been shown to be beneficial for lowering blood pressure. We have some more swaps up on here as well. So like I said, falafels are a good switch. You can use a falafel as an alternative for crispy chicken. A falafel is chickpeas that were placed in a food processor along with various herbs and spices like cumin, molded into patties, then placed in the fridge. From there, these patties are baked for about 15 to 20 minutes, and you could place a patty on a whole grain wrap, for example, with some hummus or tzatziki sauce, and then some veggies of your choosing. Jackfruits you may have been seeing more around your different grocery stores. Jackfruits are definitely increasing in the United States as it is a plant-based alternative for like a pulled pork or a pulled chicken. The unripe fruit soaks up the flavor very well and has a stringy meat-like texture after you cook it. 2 cups of jackfruit contain about 6 grams of protein and about 310 calories. To add some more protein to your pulled jackfruit sandwich, include a side of beans or even a whole grain bun as well. Tofu is a little similar to jackfruit in how it soaks up the flavors of the dish. Tofu is a complete source of protein as it is made of soy. And you could use tofu or tempeh. Tempeh is also made of soy. In stir fries, when you meal prep really quick, stir fry is a really fast option as well. All right. So we may have seen the USDA version of MyPlate. This is Harvard's version of it. It's a quick tool to utilize when making your meal. So it's a great way to reduce our meat intake as we rethink our plates. The fruit component is great, and by no means do we want you omitting fruit, but when was the last time you had fruit on your plate at lunch or dinner? It's usually served with breakfast or a snack or maybe in a summer salad. Stick to 2 to 3 servings a day of fruit and strive to make half your plate vegetables, 1/4 whole grains, 1/4 a lean or plant-based protein option, and also including water with meals, a little bit of olive oil or avocado oil or canola oil. This method helps you to properly portion your foods and optimize your choices. Okay, this is another version of the plate we just saw. Yes, there are animal products on there, but the message that we want you to take in by the end of the day and the end of this presentation is to eat meat in moderation and to increase your servings of plant-based protein options over meat-based options. Some ways to get started eating more plant-based is to start tackling the meal at breakfast. Breakfast is a reasonable place to start, as many options that we typically choose are already plant-based, like oatmeal, whole grain cereal, like a whole grain English muffin with peanut butter and banana slices. Try including some options up on the slide into your day-to-day. You do not need to eat all of them, but use this as a guide for some new breakfast staples. All right, next, let's take a peek at lunch and dinner options. Of course, salads can be molded easily, as you could see from the image on the slide, into plant-based options. You can add seeds like hemp, sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, and more to up the protein content, and you can even add nuts and beans as well. Check out the rest of these options and give them a try. A fun kitchen challenge is to see the plant-based twist that you can make to a recipe that is not typically plant-based. Try out your own twists on meatloaf, for example, or chili or stuffed peppers. You can use quinoa instead of ground beef in the stuffed peppers. That's a little hint. We will be doing a talk later on in the upcoming months on snacking. Above are some snack options to nibble on that incorporate at least 2 different macronutrients. Our main macronutrients are protein, fat, and carbohydrates. Pick out a handful of these snacks to add to your grocery list. Lastly, this is a quote from author Michael Pollan that I enjoy for its simplicity and its ability to sum up our talk. Eat food, not too much, mostly plants. Thank you for listening, everyone. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or want some tips on recipes or want to share some recipes. Bye, guys.